Hi, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to show you how to make a tool that accesses a local AI model through Ollama and determine if we should execute a buy, sell, or hold stock trade using Alpaca. For this, you're going to need a Linux system, but this should work on Windows. I just haven't tried it yet. And then Ollama installed with a Qwen 8 billion model installed. If you don't know how to do that, I recommend going on YouTube. There's plenty of videos out there that can show you how to do it. So first things first, we're going to need to install the important libraries: OS, RE, JSON, request, Yahoo Finance, pandas, the dot environment to load our local variables, the Alpaca framework, and then date and time. Now's a good time to go over how we're going to introduce our AI model and run it locally. So I've been using Ollama. Doing Ollama-H will get you these helpful tool tips. And then we're going to list our current models that we have. As you can see, I have El Hombre, El Bollo, and Qwen. Qwen is the base for all of them. I've just been naming them El Hombre for stocks and El Bollo for crypto. But I will also show you how to make a model real quick. So we're just going to run Qwen, and this will set the base model. And what I've been doing is, after it loads, I give a very specific prompt saying, hey, make me a lot of money using stocks. If you like this content, I will actually provide the prompt in my Patreon. But so basically, we can Control-C out of here, and we just need to save the model, and this will be the model that we reference. So I'll save this as a Moneymaker 4000 as an example. In the future example, we're using El Hombre. But now if you list it, you can see that it is listed. And we just need this value to match our .env file, which we will be making right now. So nano into the folder the tool is in, .env, and then we're going to be loading these variables in. The first one is the URL that our Ollama is hosted on, then the model, which matches what we just saw, the API key and secret, which you get off of your account, and then the trading URL. That's also provided in the documentation. So this should be how the layout looks in the folders. Moving on, now we can start implementing or loading those variables into our script. So we're just grabbing it, making sure that the entry matches the same in the .env. And then we're creating the interface for the Alpaca, and then we're setting a new port for us to communicate with. And there's a separate script. It'll be a separate video, but now we're getting into getting the data from the Alpaca. Just grabbing the symbol, getting the data history from it for like the last day or minute. You can change these later, but these are just default values. Return nothing if nothing was there, and then we're just adding names to the values, so when we hand it to the AI, we know what we're handing it. Now we can throw a quick main function on here to test it. You're going to see some of these debugs that will come up later. I need to update that symbols. But basically, yeah, these are kind of the functions I use to test the script. I actually wrote this. I used AI help, but I actually wrote this script. So we're just going to uncomment getting hourly data for each symbol that we have in our symbols array. And then I need to put this in a print so we actually get the data. and it outputs to the terminal. Now we should be able to give it a quick testerino. And boom! We got some data out of the 3 stocks we put into the array. Now we need to do something with it. Also, I just want to add really quick that I am a game developer, and in the description you will find a itch.io account where I have my games. Most of them are free. Please check them out. Maybe leave a comment. Really would mean everything to me, and back to the code. So we should probably take the information we got and format it into a prompt to give the AI. So I'm just going to say my little deal here. I can leave this in the comments or section somewhere where you guys can get it. But basically we're just saying, hey, here's this data I have on this stock. I want you to respond in this very specific JSON format. And later we're going to be adding history of the log. We're going to be grabbing a log from what it says and then passing the history of what it said back to it. And now we're interacting with our locally hosted AI. We're grabbing the result and we're passing it to it. If we get a valid 200 response, we're moving forward with printing its raw response. Which is good. It means it responded, but it doesn't mean it's clean enough for us to actually understand or get data from it. So now we need to parse out that data. So we're going to grab the response. If we didn't get anything, we're just going to return. And then we're going to go through and basically pull out all the JSON information and have it accessible for us. So now we'll be able to access the symbol, the reasoning, and the decision the AI gave for that stock. And now we're putting a main function. I could have named this main, but instead I named it run. And now we're basically going to be putting in the functions we just had, getting the data, organizing the prompt, sending it to it, and then parsing it out. And we should do a quick test run just to see if we're getting data coming back to us. I think that's what I was doing here. Yeah. So we're going to run it real quick. See what it gives us, and it takes a long time. I think it was because I was running this OBS while running the AI, but it took a lot longer than if I was just running the AI locally. I think it was roughly around 6 minutes. Usually it's about a minute per query, just because it's local. So one important note is if your AI isn't working, you're going to want to run this to find the PID of it and then kill it. Sometimes it gets stalled up, but running that one time and then relaunching your local AI totally help you out. And just like that, we got the raw response. We don't know if it's parsed out yet correctly, but we at least know we are able to access our local AI and get a response from it. So now we're going to try to pull the data that we want, which is the decision and the reasoning, just for logging sake. And then if it's the decision is true or false, I have this bool system. So if the first one's true, it's buy, second one's true, it's sell. If none's true, it just means hold. And now that we have all that figured out, we need to start implementing some of our logging functions just to show that we are getting data. So now I'm making a folder, or I'm checking for a folder. And then if it's not there, I'm going to make it. If it is there, we're going to use it. And we're just going to pass in the information that we have. So this was all the information we gave to the AI and then the information that it responded with. And then we're just doing a little bit of cleanup. Now we need to access this in the main run function. So we're taking the information and just throwing it into an Excel. And I think now is the magic where we need to execute the function and start utilizing the Alpaca API. So we're basically collecting what we need to make a decision to buy or sell. My current position for that symbol. If I don't have any, we're just moving forward. A quote for buying, which is how much the current ask price is for that symbol. Then I'm figuring out my buying power, which is how much money I have. And then we're going to add another exempt just to make sure that we're catching any errors. And I'm going to make that exempt as E in a second. And then we're putting in the buy logic. Basically, if we have enough money to cover the cost, we're going to submit a buy. And then if we're trying to sell and we have more than the current quantity required to sell, which I think is set to 1 right now, we're going to sell a share. And if none is selected, we are just holding. And I'm going to go up and fix this. And we need to throw this into our run function. So now we're logging our decision, and then we are executing a trade if we want to. Real quick before we test the script, let's go above the parse AI response and throw a function to grab our history. So giving the same file path as the one we provided when we were making the logs, checking if it's there, returning if it's not. We're going to open it and basically grab all the data in the inner rows and return that as the history. Grabbing all the data, all the values, and then we're going to move back to the formatting the prompt, and we're going to throw that function right at the top so we're getting the value of the history. And then we're going to go to the bottom and reference that history. And now when we submit the prompt, it should query the Excel file and hand everything to the AI so it can do its calculations. And here's it working. As you can see, we get the think and then the final JSON, which is what is parsed out and logged. Moving on to the next symbol, you can pause and read these if you want. Yeah, it looks like there was no buys on this one. But just to show you that the functionality does work with the Alpaca API, let's just do a few quick tests to show it works. So I'm going to uncomment this this for loop and just do, I think I'm going to start with buy. I tried doing sell, but it didn't work, and that's because I was not on a whitelisted IP. That is something very important. When you go to your API and you're grabbing your keys, make sure you whitelist the IP you will be accessing the framework with. Also, go back to this buy, make sure this is less than the buying power, not greater than. You will always fail a buy because it will always be more than what you have. So update that. Then we can go back and test it real quick. Don't mind these. First one was a buy. Look at that. Oh my god, it works. It's so smart. And then we're gonna do a sell. Just boop, boop, boop. I have high hopes this is gonna work. Now when we run the script again, it'll execute a sell. And just like that, we're able to buy and sell. We're able to query the AI, get a response, and it will execute this response. Just uncomment that back, so now we have a working script and you are done. Congratulations. So with this script, we're able to access our local AI and send requests to the Alpaca network. You could put this on a cron job and add extra logging or just schedule it. I'm going to provide a link in the description for my Patreon where you can find the full source code and a prompt I gave the AI to make the decisions. I'm working on a video for the Python wrapper for the AI, which is what we saw in the video. Let me know if you want to see a crypto version of this script. Thanks for watching.